Okay, I think I had this stream. You could tell my voice is already stronger than yesterday, but I will still have to take a lot of sips. I wasn't even going to stream on the LNC today, but of course, they can't stop putting their foot in it. And this time it's Laura Ebke, so we found out some more information about the LLCC, which I discussed yesterday. Because on the paperwork in Wyoming, it lists 2 LNC members. Now, something I didn't tell you is Dustin Nana asked publicly about who the principals were of the LLCC. And he asked this 3, maybe 4 days ago. I can get you the exact date. And I can't say that I waited to make a stream specifically because I was waiting for an answer on that, because I'd been sick. I couldn't have made a stream even if I wanted to. But let me just tell you, and you can believe me or not, I wasn't going to bring up that issue. I was waiting to see, good morning, Fidalgo, if he would ever get a public answer. And he didn't get a public answer till today. He got a lot of private answers, though. Why the secrecy, Laura? So Laura gets all prissy and prancy up on the LNC list. Let me read you her answer. I wasn't ever going to mention this again, but she got all indignant. And when rulers get indignant, when the peasants ask questions, it just makes me ask more questions, Senator. Dustin asked this question days ago. You could have given him an answer publicly days ago. Instead, you guys chose, this isn't Dustin's fault, to whisper about it privately without talking about it publicly. I want to know what the hell's going on now with the LLCC. The secrecy behind with this thing is just way too troubling now. Yesterday, I just figured, whatever. I said what I wanted to say, and I was going to let it go. The secrecy bothered me, and I was going to get to the bottom of that. But now Laura's really just very, very indignant response just pisses me off. Because, well, of course, she won't say my name. Say my name, Laura. No. But we all know who she's referring to. But let me read to you what she said, if I can find it. I might have to pull it up on the national list because I haven't cleared out my inbox yet. I literally just read it. But it basically, I'm not going to, I'd love to read her words exactly. I just don't like you guys waiting for me to try to find what the hell it is I'm looking for. Here it is. Okay, and I'll be able to share this screen. Now remember, Dustin asked this question 4 or 5 days ago. She could have very easily cleared this up. What she's doing, I don't like calling it victim blaming because nobody's really a victim here. But it's the same old LNC. You didn't ask right. You didn't victim right. You didn't complain right. You didn't do this right, to excuse all of their crap. So let's look up Ms. Ebke's response, shall we? Because it's just so indignant when the fault is all theirs. How dare the peasants speculate when they're not given information? When I saw Dustin ask the information, I waited, and it wasn't forthcoming. You're perfect for politics, Laura. Perfect. Let's put this up on the screen. And while that's on the screen, I want to look to see if I can find when Dustin originally asked this question. He originally asked it on April 13th. We are now on April 21st. So you see right here, LLC structure and board, April 13th. And let's just go there for a second. You can see there's no responses. So let's start where the saga began, shall we? Ms. Ebke, I'm sorry, your feathers are all ruffled that people dared to speculate on social media, the peasants and their nasty, nasty ways. Here's Dustin, very professionally. What is the current makeup of the LLC board and how is the committee structured? Good freaking questions. When Chris Lucchini and Tim Hagen and all of y'all's asses were voting yes to give them $85,000, I think we should maybe know this. I tried looking for these answers on my own. An LNC member didn't even know. And he voted no on the motion for the money, by the way. But when you're giving away $85,000, which they ended up not doing, but that was the proposal, secured by our building, he never even got an answer to this publicly. I bet you there's all kinds of answers on that private list, though, don't you, baby dolls? I bet you there is. And that's all he said. And this was 8 days ago. Now, I know some people answered him privately. He asked this publicly for a frickin' reason. I know you guys like doing all your shit in secret, but he deserved a public answer. Okay, so now let's go back here to Laura Ebke's little shit fit. Colleagues. Whenever usually an LNC member says colleagues, that's when you better start perking up because they're about to feed you a line of shit. Usually when they're not, they address somebody specifically or they're not quite so formal. Whenever they start with this formality like this, it's been my experience. It's sheerly anecdotal, but you're about to get fed a line of crap. I am told, yeah, I know you watched the video last night, Laura. I like how quickly you guys respond to my videos now. It shows we're winning. Remember when you threw me off, Laura, out of a position that I was elected to with 50% of the vote, but you weren't? Where you said, it's easy to ignore people when they're not officers. You're not finding me so easy to ignore right now, are you, Senator? And I haven't even entered my final form. I am told, yeah, I bet you've been told. There are some questions about Mr. Lucchini and my listing as incorporators for the LLCC. Yeah, there sure has been. And we shouldn't ever have had to have asked it. Why weren't these on your public disclosures, Laura? Oh, because you don't have a YouTube channel, so it's okay. You're such a hypocrite. Thank you to Mr. Molman for raising this concern privately rather than making assumptions via social media. Well, guess what? Dustin raised these questions publicly 8 days ago, and you ignored it. And I'll make all the assumptions I want via social media because you guys aren't to be trusted. When people are to be trusted, like, let me give you an example. And not even necessarily that this is someone I trust. And he'll vouch for me on this. And I'm not going to tell you the circumstance because it was resolved privately. There was a question I had about something John Wilford said. I asked him privately. We resolved it privately. There's been some questions I've had about some things Erin Adams has said. I've asked her privately. We've resolved it privately. And I fully expect, whether or not I'm on the next LNC, If I have any questions that don't need to be public information, because I don't think this next LNC is going to be operating in secret like this one, I'll handle things the same way I have for the past 6 years. It's only been this corrupt piece of shit LNC that I've treated this way. And they deserve every single drop of it. There used to be in the past, way before my time, an LNC, and this one's starting to turn into it. They just don't have enough time. That used to do, well, it wasn't even an LNC, it was an executive committee that used to just meet all the time without telling people about it. Now, this one tells us about it about half the time, but they're going in that direction. But they're doing it instead by secret email list. And remember who started that secret email list? Dan Fishyman did. They're still having all these kinds of private discussions on the secret list. Have you seen anyone with their little, oh, we're discussing this on the secret list, just so you know? Do you think that that means they haven't been? I can tell you for a fact, because they don't know what I know. They don't know that they have tweety little birds amongst their midst. They don't know what I've been told, and I know what's going on. But they've been having all kinds of discussions on the secret list that they haven't told you about. How do you feel about that? At one point in time, the thought was, whose thought, Laura? This is the whole thing. The LLCC, its operations, and we are giving it money, are completely opaque. What do you mean the thought was there might be LNC membership on the board? Whose thought was it? Why don't the members know about this since you're taking our fucking money? Where can we see on paper what the board's going to look like? How the board is chosen? When can we see any of this? Mr. Lucchini and I have both been involved with the Frontier Project from the beginning, have both attended several of the Frontier Project summits. So have many, many other people, Laura. I know you like to think you're special, but you're not. The one thing you have that you are very special for, that I'd never take away from you, is that you're a former elected. I'd never, ever take that away from you. And in that regard, you're far more qualified for this than Mr. Lucchini is. And to individual candidates who have been part of that effort. We were the most likely LNC members. Says who? For these reasons. Says fucking who? You two? Was there a vote of the LNC? Was there a vote of the executive committee? Says who? She just expects everyone to take her word for it. There's been people busting hump for ballot access and things that relate to this topic since way before you were ever in the party, Laura. Yet you presume. Maybe you were the best candidate for it. I don't know. None of us know, because this was all done in darkness. And then she mentions an elected representative who I'm not going to mention because I don't want their name involved in anything critical, because I think the world of them. Our roles of incorporators ceased as soon as the paperwork was filed. Doesn't mean you still don't have influence. When you were the ones who got it going, Lucchini and his private little discussions was going to get you $85,000. Do you think Do you think, "Oh, it makes no difference that you guys were the incorporators? Oh, but you don't have a YouTube channel, so it's okay, because according to a boomer like you, the only thing that's a conflict of interest is a YouTube channel, right?" I think perhaps holding the purse strings to 85 fucking thousand dollars is 85 fucking conflicts of interest. 85,000 fucking conflicts of interest. Don't you? The fact that you write this crap with a straight face and expect us all to open wide and swallow it. Yeah, in a perfect world in which you hadn't done so much shady shit, I might read this and go, that makes sense. But we don't live in that world where you haven't done all kinds of shady shit and silenced your political opponents. Brave, brave Sir Epke. Says, we do not sit on the board of the LLCC. And I personally would not while on the LNC. Is that why you're not running for the LNC now, Laura? Would you rather be on a shadow board that just gets money funneled to it from the LNC? I don't know. Nobody knows because this is all done in darkness. The membership deserves to know a hell of a lot more than this. So, dear Laura, oh, hold on. Do I still have those signs from crap? I don't still have those signs from my totally sincere and absolutely not sarcastic apology to Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, Laura, we're so sorry as peasants. I don't even have a bowl where I could do a little Oliver Twist, but we'll just pretend. Dear Most High former Senator Ebke, we are so sorry for questioning on social media. We should have went through all the proper channels, even though Dustin Nana did and was ignored for 8 days. And we are so sorry we didn't ask the question right. That it just wasn't satisfactory to your highness. Please don't take away our food rations, dearest Laura. May we have some more? The privileged attitude. All this did now is make me want to know more about the LLCC, and it should make you want to know more about the LLCC as well. This is ridiculous. It's $85,000 level of ridiculous. Now, they didn't end up getting $85,000. I wasn't at the meeting the other night. From what I understand, $35,000 was allocated, and it wasn't to the LLCC. It was to the Frontier Project, but I wasn't there. I could be wrong. Maybe it was to the LLCC. But Chris Lucchini, this doesn't find you, whether he still sits on the board or not. One of the founders who probably still intends upon being involved and probably intends, there's good reason to think so. I can't prove it, but there's good reason to think so. Be on the board of this thing. In secret, tried to get it $85,000 that we didn't have and was going to mortgage your building to do it in the middle of a world financial crisis. And none of you at all find that, I'm being sarcastic because I know you do, or you wouldn't be watching me. And none of you at all find that at all the least bit hinky. Lucy got some splaining to do. That's all I got to say. Because there's something that don't smell quite right here. And perhaps none of us would be thinking this if they had been open about it in the beginning. But why was Dustin Nana's question ignored for 8 days? Don't tell me you told him in private. That's great. Why was his public question, where members could see, ignored for 8 days? Why all of a sudden has both Richard and Tim stopped their little updates about what they're talking about on the secret list? How come? How come they haven't told you? They've been chitter-chattering about the Massachusetts appeals on the secret list. The first thing the new LNC needs to do is download that secret list and then blast its existence, not those contents of that, because it's party property, has to be preserved, but the existence of it into fucking high orbit, and like write a memorial plaque condemning Daniel Fisherman for doing that without any LNC authority, to like all of the libertarian, like before all the libertarian, the eyes of all the libertarian gods for all eternity, because nothing has caused more shit in the party than that little thing that he did. And I do believe that when he did it, he wasn't acting in bad faith. It's just the typical corporate bullshit that he's used to, and doesn't realize that we're not supposed to be running things like the typical corporate bullshit. I'm probably going to be doing a show on the Massachusetts JC appeal tonight, because Tara wrote such a precious letter to the JC complaining that I got to see her filings. Talk about somebody else who wants to operate in secret. Jason, she's really, really, really big mad. She's big mad that an out-of-stater is helping you guys, because don't you know that when people are wronged, it should be only people, who live within imaginary lines on the sand that should help people who are wronged. Didn't you know that? Maybe you hired me, right? From what's it? What was the name of that freaking Democrat organization that she accused the Mises Caucus of using? Crowds on Demand. Maybe you found me. Maybe you got me. I'm what you get when you get Crowds on Demand on Wish. Oh, she bigly mad though. She big mad. I'm so sad that Tara's mad at me. This isn't the DNC, Tara. You want to operate in, well, I can understand her confusion considering the way the LNC's been operating in secret. But let's pretend the LNC was like what it's supposed to be. This isn't the DNC. This isn't the DNC, Tara, where we operate in secret. Daniel 3, let me first let me stop sharing this screen. Yes, I'm just coming off of a very, very bad case of COVID. So yes, I am sick too. I'm on the tail end of COVID, which is why I couch everything in. I'm planning on doing this, and I'm planning on doing that. If my voice holds up, I will probably do something very short on Massachusetts tonight. I did a somewhat long stream last night on this whole LLCC situation, kind of to prove to myself that I could. But I probably shouldn't have. My voice was killing me. I woke up super sore throat, but I need to get back into life. I could still sleep for days, and I'm probably going to go back to sleep after this, because I didn't eat for like a week. It was really bad, but I am on the upswing. Sorry, whoever wanted me to be dead. It didn't kill me. And here I am, alive and kicking back at a corrupt LNC. So we look forward to, though I doubt we'll get it, further disclosures about the LLCC and how they operate. Again, there are a couple electeds on it who should not be, I haven't said their names at all because I don't want their names in any critical context. I think the world of both of these electeds and wouldn't want them even remotely connected with a bad juju. LNC members are one thing. Alrighty, everyone, I'm going to get going, but this email just came up and just her indignation, the question blaming, my word. All right, everyone, I'll talk to you later. I'm sure my stream last night will prompt the face of, or is it the email that prompted 1,000 streams? I don't know what I'm even trying to say here, but there might be multiple streams today if this gift just keeps on giving the way this one does. All right, bye-bye.